Hello, I'm Jeffrey Smith. In this lesson, you'll be using AutoCAD to design a three-dimensional drop leaf table. As you are constructing the table, pay particular attention to the trim command that easily allows you to edit lines so you can region them for an extrusion. Once we have constructed the table, we will be able to export the table and animate the work surface and corresponding drawer. Good luck.
In Lesson 1, we're going to create a 2D profile of the table and extrude the object into a table surface. So let's check our settings and make sure that we have the midpoint and center and endpoint, the object snap selected. And then we also want to make sure that we're working in the 3D viewport. And it's going to be important here that we go to the front view. We don't want to work in the top view as we have before, but let's get in the front view. And there's obviously different ways to do this, and we want to be in the 2D wireframe. So once you're sure that you're in the front view, we're going to go ahead on the home ribbon, and on the draw command we're going to select the rectangle tool. And then let's go ahead, once we have the rectangle tool selected, and type in 0, 0 on the command line below. And then for the opposite corner, let's go ahead and type in 15.25, comma 1 for 1 inch. So you should have a rectangle similar to what we're looking at it on the screen. So we're going to then take the circle tool and we're going to put on the bottom corner and move it to the top, so the radius of the circle is going to be 1 inch. And then we're going to move this circle. So you can go ahead and type in move on the command line or use the icon from the ribbon above. Select the object, press enter, and then grab it from the end on the right hand side and move it all the way over to the right. And so the top of the circle is embedded there within the rectangle. Then we're going to mirror that circle. So either use the mirror icon or in the command line, go ahead and type in mirror, select the object, and then press enter. And then we want to find the midpoint and make that perpendicular. And we don't want to delete the first one, so type in N. It should default to N, and type in enter. So once we have the two circles in the rectangle, we're going to use the trim command, and the trim command is on the ribbon above on the modify, or you can, as with all these commands, just type it in the command line below. So let's go ahead and type in trim and then press enter. And what we want to do is select everything. So from the bottom up, select everything and then press enter. And then we want to delete the pieces that we don't want. So it's all ready for us to do that on this trim. So we'll go ahead and trim the pieces that we do not want to use here. So just click on it and you'll see that they disappear. So once we do this, it'll be pretty self-evident here what we're trying to do. We're making the profile of the table, and this is a bull nose edge is what they call this. Now unfortunately it's not ready for us to extrude this because we need to put all this together. So first thing you want to do though is visually inspect it and make sure that it's all on one plane. So I'm looking at this in the isometric view and it appears to be all on one plane. If it's not on one plane, you will not be able to extrude it, and it'll be very difficult and nerve-wracking. So let's go ahead now and either use the ribbon and find the region icon, and if you put it over it, it should tell you what it is. And then you can always just go down to the command line and type in region, R-E-G-I-O-N. And what this does is it takes all these lines and it will turn it into a solid object. So type in region, select everything, and then press enter. And you should notice on the command line above it says one region created. Alright, so then if you change it from the 2D to the conceptual, it will be solid. Alright, so however, we're not done with the profile yet. So we've made the top, but if you've ever seen a drop leaf table, the sides of the table actually will rotate down. And that's what we're going to do now. So again, let's make sure we're in the front view. Inspect it, make sure it's solid. And it's usually easiest to work in the view which is right now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and we can zoom in, zoom out. And we're going to be creating another rectangle here, and this one's actually going to be below the work surface. So select the rectangle tool and go ahead and type in 0, 0 as a starting point, and then press enter. And this time we're going to go on the y-axis. So we're going to go type in -1 for the x, so it's 1 inch, and then -9.75 and press enter. So it will help you. We go to the 2D wireframe. And so we're going to do a similar thing. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this so we can really see the detail here. So we have the one bullnose edge, but we actually need to make a cavity with this rectangle we just made. So we're going to do the same procedure as we did on the top to make the bullnose. Take the circle and put it on the rectangle so it's 1 inch in radius. Just snap it there. And then again, let's go ahead and find the trim command, which is in the modify on the ribbon, or just type it in on the ribbon, on the command line below. And then from the bottom, just go up and select everything, so you have everything there selected. And then just trim off the pieces that we don't need. Now look at what I'm doing. This will help you. And then what we'll do on this one piece is we'll just delete it. So click onto it and push erase. So if you see, we essentially made the cavity. Now we're going to do the same procedure. We're going to want to region this. So let's just zoom out and see everything here. And now we can go ahead and find the region icon, or just go ahead and type in region and press enter. And select that rectangle with that half circle, that quarter circle, and push enter. And it says one region created, and it's always good to inspect it, however. So look at it in the conceptual and it should be solid. And we're going to do this now. Instead of building another one on the right hand side, obviously we're just going to mirror this one over. So work in the 2D wireframe if you can. It makes it easier to see what you're doing. Now what we need to do though is properly separate this. So let's go on the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to make an object temporarily that we can delete. So go ahead and type in 0, 0, enter, and then this is just going to be a small piece here. So type in -0.125, comma, and the same thing, -0.125, enter. And then 2D wireframe, we're actually going to move this over. So you can do it on the ribbon above, or just type in move and press enter. Select the object, which is one piece now, and just move it over, and that's going to be 1/8 of an inch offset. And then we don't need that little construction tool, so go ahead and just delete it or erase it. Okay, so now we want to mirror this work surface. So let's zoom out. So you can either do it from the ribbon above, select the mirror icon, or just simply type mirror in the command line below, and then press enter. And then go ahead and select the drop surface, and let's find the midpoint. Select the midpoint where the triangle is and come straight down So it's perpendicular, and we don't want to delete it, so either press enter or type in N for no, and inspect it. So look at it from as many views as you need. So you should have 3 solid objects there. And now we're going to extrude this. So use the icon, or just type in extrude, E-X-T-R-U-D-E, enter, and then select all 3 items at the same time. And then we're going to make this 35 inches. So type in -35, so it's going to be going away from us, and then press enter. Now, we're essentially done with this, but what we need to do, however, is differentiate these objects, and we'll do that by using the layer tool. So inspect, make sure that you have only 3 objects. And then we're going to go ahead and get the front view open. This is how the plane that we've been working in. And you can use the ribbon above and go to the layers, or just go ahead and in the command line type in layer, L-A-Y-E-R, and press enter. And we need to create 3 separate layers. We're actually going to be making 4, but go ahead and type in right leaf, and then type in left leaf, and these are the items that we've created, and type top. Also type in drawer. That is not shown here. You'll be using that later. And so the easiest way to do this is just turn one of these layers off. We'll turn the right one off, and we'll select the right leaf of that object, right click on it and hit the properties, and then simply just move it to that layer. And it's going to tell us that it's off, which we know, and that's what we want, so it's essentially invisible. And then we'll select the left leaf, and we'll put it on the left leaf layer. Try that again. And again, it's telling us that the layer is off, and then we'll finish that up with the top, or the work surface. Select the item, right click on it, hit the properties, and put it on the top. So right now everything's invisible, so let's go ahead and turn these all back on. And then before you end this lesson, go ahead and inspect everything. So in this lesson we have created the work surface, the surface of the table, and the leaves. And we've extruded the objects. So make sure they're on the layers, and you've completed the first lesson.